Hello there, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. This is Vnews presenting you today's top stories as usual.
Vietnam leader hosts phone talk with Republic of Korea's president-elect. Nationwide ceremony kickstarts environmental protection events. And later on, visiting Taiwan Palace via VR technology.
President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc held phone talks with the Republic of Korea's president-elect Yoon Suk-yeol on March 23rd.
President Phúc congratulated Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol on being elected as the 20th President of the Republic of Korea. He spoke highly of the achievements the two countries have made over the past 30 years. He thanks the government of the Republic of Korea for supporting Vietnam in its fight against COVID-19. President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol said he always attaches importance to relations with Vietnam and wishes the two sides to further enhance bilateral ties in the future. He said that Korea will continue to encourage its businesses to invest or expand investment in Vietnam, and that his country will facilitate Vietnamese citizens' entry. Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol lauded Vietnam's role in ASEAN and thanked Vietnam for its contributions to peace, stability, cooperation and development on the Korean peninsula. The two leaders agreed to increase bilateral trade to $100 billion next year and $150 billion in 2030.
A hybrid nationwide ceremony has been held by the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to kickstart a series of events to mark World Water Day, World Meteorological Day, and Earth Hour 2022, all to be celebrated this month.
This year's theme of the World Water Day is Groundwater, making the invisible visible, aiming to bring attention to the invisible yet impactful resource, groundwater, and its significance to agriculture, industry, ecosystem, and climate change adaptation. Themed Early Warning and Early Action, World Meteorological Day spotlights the vital importance of hydrometeorological and climate information for disaster risk reduction. The Earth Hour theme is Shape Our Future is Now or Never. It intends to raise public awareness of adapting to climate change and preventing and reserving global biodiversity loss. A host of activities will be held to educate people on a green and healthy lifestyle and the harmful effects of illegal hunting and consumption of wildlife animals, while schools are asked to organize environmental awareness classes and relevant extracurricular activities.
The Vietnamese Embassy in Israel, in collaboration with the Israel-Asia Chamber of Commerce, held a ceremony to inaugurate the Vietnam-Israel Chamber of Commerce. Speaking
at the event, Vietnamese Ambassador Do Minh Hùng briefs participants on the two nations' trade situation and prospects. He said Vietnam maintains its status as Israel's largest trade partner in Southeast Asia. Representatives from Israeli enterprises showed their interest in investing in Vietnam, a nearly 100 million consumer market, and their hope to import commodities of all kinds, from machinery, automobile to food from Vietnam.
See a great growing in the trade relation, amazing growing in trade relation between Israel and Vietnam. And we want to support all the Israeli businesses and all the Vietnamese company in order to make good business together that will make the trade double.
Despite impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the bilateral relations in general and the trade ties in particular have developed strongly, with the trade turnover hitting $1.8 billion, a rise of $1.6 billion of 2020 and $1.2 billion of 2019.
The Vietnam-Laos and Laos-Vietnam Cooperation Committees started the construction of an agricultural technique and services center in Say Son Bun province, which is funded with Vietnamese non-refundable aid.
With a total investment of about $5.54 million, the center is expected to complete after 2 years. The heads of the two committees, Vietnamese Minister of Planning and Investment Nguyễn Trí Dũng and Lao Minister of Planning and Investment Kham Jan Phong Fosi said on the occasion that the project is a meaningful gift from the Vietnamese government to Say Som Boon, which was established only 8 years ago and is facing many difficulties. The same day, the two ministers also attended the inaugural ceremonies for Say Som Boon's provincial military school and a farm produce and herbal material processing plant, also built with Vietnamese aid. The school was built from October 2019 with a budget of nearly $6.7 million, and the processing plant cost of about $1.6 million. These projects are aimed at improving socio-economic life of local residents.
The 5K message of masks, disinfecting, distancing, no gatherings, health declarations issued by the Ministry of Health in August 2020 is no longer relevant in the new normal. In order to effectively prevent any further spread of COVID-19 and at the same time meet requirements for opening up and recovering its economy, Ho Chi Minh City is gradually adapting and flexibly changing the 5K message.
When schools are open, students can avoid joint activities such as studying, playing, and eating together. And pandemic prevention measures under the 5K message are no longer appropriate. Therefore, schools are flexibly applying different measures that meet requirements in the new situation.
We often remind our children to practice self-protection by regularly disinfecting their hands and wearing masks properly. The school also creates an open space for students. Parents can also help the children improve their resistance to disease by supplementing their diet and encouraging them to exercise regularly.
Similarly, the implementation of the 5K message at restaurants, eateries, and entertainment venues are proactive and flexible.
The restaurant arranged seating for guests to ensure a safe distance between them and provides hand sanitizer. We also spray chloramine B every day to disinfect the area.
The city has learned that wearing masks and disinfecting areas are valuable measures, while social distancing and limits on gatherings are no longer appropriate.
During this new situation, the 5K message is no longer relevant. For example, medical declarations should be dropped.
Most people in Ho Chi Minh City have received a third dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Life in the city has almost returned to normal. The implementation of pandemic prevention measures therefore needs to be more flexible. The gradual removal of 5K regulations will enable the city to recover and boost its economic development.
Bamboo Airways' direct air route linking Vietnam and the UK was officially launched on March 22nd, with flights departing from Hanoi's Nội Bài International Airport to London.
The route will see 2 flights per week at present. Bamboo Airways uses 787 night Dreamliner on this route, which has shortened the travel time between the two countries to more than 12 hours, saving nearly 7 hours compared to transit flights. The route is hoped to foster connection between the countries, General Director of the carrier Thăm said. Earlier, Bamboo Airways operated its direct route linking Vietnam and Germany.
The Vietnamese Cultural Center in France represented Vietnam at the 2022 Francophonie Weekend held in Seine-et-Marne, 60 kilometers from Paris on March 19th and 20th in the celebration of International Francophonie Day 2022.
Adorned with the national flag, the Vietnam Pavilion drew the attention of many visitors. Publications in the Vietnamese language on the country's seas and islands and tourist attractions were on display, as were souvenirs and traditional musical instruments. This year's event featured nearly 40 booths of members of the international organizations of the Francophonie.
The photos, conical hats, and lanterns all feature the special characteristics of Vietnam. I love Vietnam and hope to visit the country in the near future.
A bilingual book entitled Biển đảo quê hương, National Seas and Islands was introduced to French readers.
I visited partly Iceland in 2016. When I returned to France, I thought I must retell story about the national seas and islands to the Vietnamese community in France, especially the younger generation.
This is a chance to honor the French language and strengthen the Francophone community and intensify solidarity for peace among nations.
Vietnam may be a guest of honor at the fifth holding slated for 2024.
According to Hue Monuments Conservation Center, visitors can now view Tai Hoa Palace, or the Palace of Supreme Harmony, a typical architectural work in the UNESCO-recognized Hue Imperial Citadel, thanks to the virtual reality or VR technology.
Visitors to the Citadel need only scan a QR code on their smartphone to be able to tour Tai Hoa Palace via 3D technology and admire its carvings of poetry and literature. With 3 viewing models and a 360 degrees multi-directional 3D viewing angle, visitors can contemplate Tai Hoa Palace in every detail with voiceovers in both Vietnamese and English, introducing the history, architecture, and values of the site. Tai Hoa Palace underwent a major restoration last November at a cost of over 128 billion dong, about $5.6 million. The project is expected to be completed in August 2025. Many visitors to the complex of Hue monuments were disappointed at not being able to visit Tai Hoa Palace due to restorations. The VR tour is a great alternative and allows visitors to look at and learn about the important site. Tai Hoa Palace is a typical architectural work in the complex of Hue monuments. It has remained fairly intact, though was in need of the ongoing restorations. In particular, the special decorative style of one poem, one painting, with one painting placed adjacent to one poem, will be preserved at the palace, which has been recognized as a documentary heritage in the Asia-Pacific region.
With nearly 500 historical monuments and famous landmarks, northern mountainous Tuyên Quang province has significant potential in historical, ecological, and community-based tourism. It is currently focusing on developing typical local products, accessing the domestic tourism market, and turning Tuyên Quang, a capital of resistance war in the past, into a friendly and safe destination for tourists.
The number of visitors to Tuyên Quang province increased dramatically in the opening months of 2022. This is a good sign for its tourism industry to recover and develop in the post-pandemic new normal.
The province should focus on spiritual tourism and agricultural and rural ecotourism in association with convalescence tourism and medical examination and treatment tourism, among others. It should also strengthen its promotional activities and upgrade infrastructures to create new waves of tourism.
To stimulate tourism demand, Tuyên Quang has actively accessed the domestic tourism market and foreign markets. The province has 300 historical and cultural heritage. It also boasts now-hung primitive forests, home to valuable flora and fauna. The province aims to attract 2.2 million visitors this year.
And that's the end of our bulletin. Thank you for being here with us. We hope to see you again soon.